I really wanted to go full clickbait on the thumbnail. I just can't bring myself to give in to YouTube's wacky thumbnail fetish. So you're thinking of buying a Surface Duo. This video is for you. I'm trying to do something serious here, not tell you how to spend your money or scare you away from the Duo, but some thoughts on what it's been like owning one and using it as a daily driver. If you're not thinking of buying a Duo, you're welcome to stay, but this video won't be making any arguments or debate points to try and convince you to buy a Duo or to justify what Microsoft is doing here. But I digress. Back to the Duo. This gadget is a little slice of incredible. I earnestly believe that Microsoft has arrived at one of the best solutions for turning Android into a tablet, and that it comes with the perk of approximating a pretty solid phone when you want that too. No getting around the fact that it's pricey, but unique hardware comes with a higher price tag. There's nothing safe about this design, and Microsoft is pushing into territory that even Samsung won't follow. I mean, this thing is thinner than the shielding around most USB cables. I really can't prepare you for what it feels like in the hand by talking about it. You gotta try and hold one. The displays are great, but I would agree with some of the criticisms that they're a little dim. I can see what I'm doing when I use it outside, but I am squinting to read what's on the screen. I will offer a counterpoint to the bezels though. I love having bezels. You gotta think about how thin this thing really is. There is not a way to hold this where the flesh of your fingers won't wrap around the edge and touch the front. So if you're really into the idea of multitasking, you'll probably be using it like this a lot and having strips where you can really secure your grip and hold on to it. These bezels are actually kind of critical. It's pretty, but it wants to be used. And I did a full benchmarking video for the concerns over this slightly older chipset. There's plenty of processing power on tap. App developers will be looking to support significantly less powerful mid-ranger phones for the next 2 years. They won't want to lose out on the bulk of consumers out there who aren't shopping premium, so I'm not concerned how the Duo might age over its potential lifespan. The main concern for the tech over that same period of time might be if you care about 5G. Assuming 2 to 3 years, if you're in an area where you might get some 5G coverage, we know that carriers will drop more cash on 5G than LTE improvements. So that's something to consider. Now, I'm producing this pretty early after the consumer launch. I didn't get to play with the embargo software, and this is only after the first initial launch software update. There are definitely some areas where the Duo needs a bit of polishing, but I'd highly recommend keeping up with the Microsoft betas for SwiftKey and the Microsoft launcher. The SwiftKey got a little less twitchy for me and included better support for features like long pressing the spacebar to slide your cursor through your text. And the Microsoft launcher beta has helped tremendously for smoothing out some of the rotation and split screen jank. We still have room to improve, but I trust we'll get solid updates from Microsoft, especially after seeing how a few apps in beta can significantly improve the experience. To that quality of life point, this is a very unfamiliar gadget. Phones don't usually work like this. The metaphor for using it in your brain needs to change. It's really not a phone. It's a tablet that defaults to opening apps in split screen. So gestures get fiddly when you have to navigate that. Swiping up and over is different in one direction than it is in the opposite direction. Swiping up to go home can sometimes flip an app to the other screen if you accidentally swipe at an angle. You have to deal with a back button swipe with a little less room to execute that well. And Android, not Microsoft, Android still has this problem with all of the apps that use lateral gestures to navigate, and those gestures conflicting with a back swipe off the edge. I might recommend moving back to the 3-button navigation. It makes each interaction more specific. Back doesn't get in the way of app UI. You have a specific tap for going straight home. Swiping up is only used to move an app to another screen or to go full screen, and you have a dedicated button to view apps that are running in the background. I think it cleans up a few of these interactions and makes the device a little more familiar. At least, I think it's worth a try. Responding to a few of the complaints I've heard from people, like, it must be annoying constantly opening and closing the Duo to check on your notifications and things, and no, it's not. First, I wear a smartwatch because I hate notifications on all phones. I think all phones are miserable at alerting you to what's going on in your digital life. But I digress again. When I think I might reference the phone more frequently, I just leave it screen out. I only really close it completely when I think I'm gonna be done for a while. In and out of my pocket, screen out is totally fine. It's all glass. And we should probably talk about the camera. It's okay. To keep everything perfectly flush and flat and smooth, you can't use a larger sensor. That would need more depth. Considering the market of people who might be interested in this style of productivity, I don't think it's a deal breaker, but it might change your behavior a little. What you have here is a pretty solid selfie shooter as the only camera on the phone. It's great for video calling and conferencing, and there are a lot of people out there where the main phone camera they use is the one that's on the front. By that metric, photos are decently competitive, but that's not hard. Selfie cameras are a pretty low bar, IMO. So no one is suggesting that this is gonna be a great content creation or vlogging phone. You can't judge a fish by how well it can climb a tree. So if you're watching a video like this, you're probably gonna be okay using another solution for better photography. The nice thing is, if you move content from another camera over to the Duo, it's pretty solid for editing and manipulating that content. And that brings us to accessories. Accessories help customize a phone, make it a better fit for our specific needs. I'm a big fan of using a stylus, so a Surface Pen is kind of a no-brainer. SwiftKey is a decent software keyboard. I just think it looks silly when people in reviews try to touch type on the Duo, like we're really gonna try and use it like a little mini baby laptop. Instead, I'd recommend picking up a Bluetooth travel keyboard. I actually think all phones benefit from having some kind of touch typing solution, but dual display phones really rise to that occasion. And depending on where you might take the Duo, you probably won't need a stand, but that could help if you want to angle it a little differently, especially keeping both screens out in landscape. And because the Duo treats both screens as one canvas, a mouse works better here than on an LG dual display. Now, audio is a bit tricky. This is one of the only phones ever made where I truly believe there just wasn't enough room to include a headphone jack. Any Bluetooth or true wireless solution should work as well as any other. I've also found the OnePlus USB-C bullets worked pretty well. I'm really not a fan of the Surface dongle, which even for its low price, I think is kind of a mediocre solution. But above all, I'd be concerned about putting additional wear and tear on the USB port. If you want to drive a nicer listening experience, I'd probably recommend something like a FiiO wireless DAC instead. A main concern for this form factor: cases and screen protectors. I just don't think we're gonna get any glass guards for these displays. Now, maybe some matte plastic guards could be nice for folks who use a stylus a lot. Give that writing a little bit of extra texture. But the bigger concern, I'm not sure what kind of cases we might see for this. I don't think you can make bumpers with better protection and coverage that won't affect the hinge. I hope I'm wrong, but at present, the best solution might be some kind of pouch or slip cover. Lastly, for accessories, the Duo UI is pretty stinking cool, and it looks the part of a proper PC when you connect it to another monitor. Unfortunately, the phone doesn't seem to be able to power a USB-C monitor like other phones can, so we don't get that clean single cable experience here. It's still functional, it works great with a laptop dock, especially if you connect it to a charger, but it doesn't seem Microsoft is putting out a lot of juice from this USB port. It did work really well with my next dock though. So even for some pillar boxing on the aspect ratio, turning this into a proper computer is pretty handy. These are still early days for the Surface Duo, and it's proving to be an exciting departure from the normal smartphone grind. We would do well to remember that this is a new niche, and it can't really be judged by the same sales or popularity metrics when considering whether this turns out to be a success or not. For that person really looking to put a PC in their pocket, someone who appreciates better multitasking capabilities, who might work on documents, spreadsheets, and other office productivity services, the Duo makes an incredibly strong argument for a new kind of tablet. If you're looking to shop one, if you want to jump on this ride, drop me a comment. What are you looking forward to trying out on a Surface Duo? As always, thanks so much for watching, for sharing these videos, and subscribing to the channel. Supporting your favorite content creators has never been more critical than it is today. So I hope you'll check out the links and merch store down below, which help me not pack every video with baked-in ads and sponsorships. There's a support page on SomeGadgetGuy.com for a list of all of my affiliates and partnerships, or you might consider joining the list of names scrolling by from my Patreon, patreon.com/SomeGadgetGuy. Those are super cool tech pals, basically the best people on the internet, so I hope you'll check them out. Now, you know where you can find me around the rest of the web, at SomeGadgetGuy on the Twitters and the Twitch, and the Facebooks and the Instagrams. And I will catch you all on the next video.